episode 132 of the Wrestling Rundown. My name is Travis Colt, and as you can see, I'm by myself. For those of you that have already watched our Roadblock review, you know exactly why. For those of you that are just tuning in for the Raw review, welcome, by the way. Holiday schedules messed up. Kevin Hawk won't be able to make it for the rest of the week. He's going to try, but he's scheduled super late, so you might just get me for the remainder of the week. So, sorry? You're welcome? I don't know. Depends on your preference. But anyway, we're talking about Monday Night Raw. We're talking about the Raw after WWE Roadblock. And, man, they did a lot of the same stuff that they've been doing over the last month or so. Like, well, we knew coming out of Roadblock they were going to be doing the rematch between Big Cass and Rusev. They did that. And it lasted about 30 seconds again because Big Cass got himself disqualified. By the way, and the commentators were blaming Lana that as she was the distraction that kept Cass from getting back in the ring at Roadblock. No, Cass went to go check on Enzo, who got attacked by Rusev. Enzo even said this later in the show, but commentary sucks. I understand. Byron, stop. Yeah, so Big Cass loses again. And then we're in the back, and Enzo's like, "Hey man, maybe it's my fault. You know, I'm out there. I'm costing you matches. I don't know what's going on." And and Big Cass is trying to tell him like, "No man, you're out there. I understand. You know, Rusev got exactly what he deserved. Blah blah blah." And then all of a sudden, Enzo gets this letter, and he's being summoned to sensitivity training because he was naked a couple weeks ago. Okay. So we go to the sensitivity training, which is like 3 segments throughout the entire night. He's there with Darren Young, Bob Backlund, Bo Dallas, and Jinder Mahal. And I couldn't even enjoy the fact that Enzo was making fun of Jinder Mahal because the segments were awful, made no sense, and it was just to set up for Rusev to attack Enzo again because of what he said at Roadblock about Lana. Where is this going? I don't understand. I don't like it. And it just seems like we're going to keep having Big Cass go after Rusev because Enzo. Speaking of doing things that have already been done, we have brand new Raw Tag Team titles that were presented to Sheamus and Cesaro that look exactly like the regular ones that also look exactly like this. They're the SmackDown ones, but they're red. And I understand that it's color coding with the brands. That's fine. But back when we had the first brand split, we actually had two different looking championships. We had the old WWE Tag Team championships were on SmackDown, but they had, you know, a little bit of blue accents. And then the Raw ones were like brand new tag titles that said World Tag Team titles on them and then had like the Raw logo. Why are we getting these things and then Sheamus tried to take them? And then, so now those other tag team titles are just gone. Because we then had the New Day come out and talk about how, you know, it may be sad that they're not the tag team champions anymore, but in order to reach statuses like Ric Flair being a 16-time world champion, he had to lose 15 times. And in a month, that'll be Charlotte. That was my favorite part of the entire night. One of my favorites. Just them doing that little, like, you know, how many times are you going to give this championship to this person? But anyway, yeah, they come out and they talk about how, you know, they'll eventually become the tag team champions again. We have Cesaro and Sheamus come out and they're still doing the... I thought they were supposed to be friends. Like, they still don't get along, but they do get along. I don't. Okay, okay, I'll deal with it. But you know what I'm not gonna deal with? The fact that you brought the club out again to try and make this all different. And then, to make it a little different, you brought out the Shining Stars. And the Shining Stars were out there for a total of about a minute, maybe two, before it just turned into a giant brawl, which turned into an 8-man tag match. Go figure. Where we had the New Day, Sheamus, and Cesaro pick up the win after Cesaro did the swing and the sharpshooter on Primo. So, you didn't establish any new threats. You jobbed out 2 of your actual tag teams again. And then I don't know what this was supposed to do in terms of where the tag team titles go next. I understand that the New Day gets another shot. And that's normal, which I can appreciate that. But what does this do moving forward for the rest of the tag team division? I'm going to rant a lot. Did I mention that? I'm going to rant a lot. We did have some cruiserweight action. We had a rematch between Cedric Alexander and Noam Dar. Unfortunately, this match wasn't very long, plus there was a commercial in the middle of it. Cedric Alexander ended up picking up the win. A very straightforward, just emphatic win for him, hitting the lumbar check. And then he had Alicia Fox out at ringside, and then we had Noam Dar get creepy again and get on the microphone and say, you know what, our matches, we're even. We can call it even, but no. We're not even because you have what I want. You have Alicia Fox. So all he wants for Christmas is Alicia Fox. Okay. You're creepy, Noam Dar. Just throwing that out there. So we're gonna continue this feud for Alicia Fox, apparently. I was almost expecting her to turn on Cedric Alexander, and I'm still kind of expecting it just because Alicia Fox doesn't play the babyface role all that well, and not for very long. So I'm expecting her to end up siding with Noam Dar. When, I'm not sure, but eventually. And then we also had some fallout from what happened with Neville. Neville came out and just ripped the crowd apart, which was nice, seeing this intensity out of him. Him actually being able to just kind of let loose on the mic. And it's a nice change from what we normally know as Neville, or what we've known as Neville since NXT. I mean, I don't think he's been a heel at all. He was like a fake heel for a little bit on NXT, and that was just in like the who's gonna be champion between him and Sami Zayn kind of thing. But he wasn't like an actual heel. This is an actual heel, and he is just ripping the crowd apart. Rich Swann comes out and he's like, "Hey man, what's wrong with you? What happened to the guy I used to the guy I used to know?" And apparently Neville talks about how he was the one that took Rich Swann under his wing and taught him everything he knows, and he calls himself the king of the cruiserweights. And then just to kind of add to that, we have Brian Kendrick come out and say, yeah, when we were starting this whole thing, I was wondering, where's Neville? What are we going to do with Neville? When's Neville going to get here? So we're starting to give a little bit of notoriety and some nods towards Neville being in the Cruiserweight division. He even finally announces that he's going to be on 205 Live. He said he's going to demolish the entire roster. And then we have Neville and Brian Kendrick attack Rich Swann, and go figure, Rich Swann is saved by TJ Perkins. They're doing a tag team match on 205 Live this week. This needs to be it. If there's anything of these three, Neville's a change to the roster itself. Neville is not a change to this storyline. Don't be giving me a fucking fatal four-way with the same three guys and just add Neville in there, because that's bullshit. this needs to be the last time for at least a month. You cannot put these three guys together in a triple threat, a singles match, a tag team match, anything until the end of January. Please, for the love of God, don't do this anymore. Because I like the cruiserweights. I like all of these guys. I don't want to hate these guys, and you're making me hate when these guys are on my TV. Speaking of things I hate seeing on my TV, Sasha came out to talk about how she lost at a pay-per-view again. And how, her and Charlotte have been to war over the last couple months, and it's all great and good, but this is the same fucking speech we get every goddamn time, and then it just turns into something else. And it did, and she wanted to call out Charlotte to, tell her that she was, tell her congratulations, and, she just wanted to be, she wanted to be sportsman. She wanted to show sportsmanship. She wanted to be humble. She wanted to be like, hey, you were the better woman. Congratulations. Instead, she got Nia Jax because Emelina is still premiering soon. So Nia comes out and Sasha said that, I don't really feel like a boss right now, and I thought, okay, are they just breaking down this character? Are they making Sasha feel like she's less, because she's one of the best women on, she's probably the best female wrestler on Raw right now, in my opinion. And so she just keeps putting herself down, and then Nia comes out and says, you're not a boss. You can call yourself a boss all you want. I'm like, she was just saying she wasn't a boss. She's just saying that she's, she's not in the right mindset, whatever the fuck it was. And then Nia just says, you're nothing but a little girl. And then she kicks the crutch. I didn't even talk about that. Sasha had the knee brace and the crutch on and everything, and she's limping out. And so Nia kicks the crutch out from underneath her arm, which flips into the air and then falls directly almost down onto Sasha. And then so she kind of corners Sasha. She picks her up, tosses her into the ropes, hangs up that knee, which is really good, and then decides not to use the crutch. I feel like that would have been a better statement in this situation, especially if you're trying to prove your dominance over a former champion and you're a heel. You need to take advantage of stuff like that. But I guess just kind of showing that she was attacking a wounded person and throwing her into the ropes, I guess that was maybe enough. I would have gone with the crutch, but I'm not Nia Jax, and I don't write for Raw. So then on the other side, by the way, yeah, Charlotte didn't come out. There was a long pause between Charlotte and the call for Charlotte and the playing of Nia Jax's music. So Charlotte comes out later to talk about how she's so good. And I'm really glad that USA decided to freeze for this, because it didn't have to listen to her entire promo. And it literally didn't turn back on until Bayley got in the ring. So I have no fucking clue what Charlotte said for most of her promo. And I'm okay with that. But Bayley tells her, hey, I think now that the Sasha-Charlotte feud is over, I think the Charlotte and Bayley feud should start. Because I've beaten you twice now, and Charlotte keeps trying to say that those two matches don't matter. So then Bayley's like, okay, well, how about I prove to you right now that I'm better than you? Charlotte, for some, maybe this is just like her head is too big because she's beat Sasha again. So she says, yeah, fine, bring down a referee, we'll have a match. And the match is decent. I mean, it's nothing to write home about. I appreciate the fact that Charlotte was still looking as good as she did, despite going through the Iron Man match at Roadblock. That was impressive. But then Bayley ends up beating her with a really sloppy backslide after ducking a chop and hooking up the arms. I'm kind of it did kind of play into the way it ended, though, because Corey made a call that Charlotte got her right shoulder up. And they even showed a replay and slowed it down, and it does look like Charlotte got her shoulder up. So they're starting, and as much as I don't want to like Charlotte as champion, they're starting this is a good segue away from the Sasha situation. I just don't want Sasha to all of a sudden become part of this storyline like a lot of feuds happen where it's like, okay, we need to get away from this person. Like Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. We need to get away from this person. But I'm going to go against that person who's connected to this person, so we're going to talk about this person even though I can't face this person. It's stupid. Just remove yourself completely. The only connection there should be in these two feuds is that they're, like, the three of them are part of the Four Horsewomen, and they're on the women's roster. That should be the most that this story connects. I know eventually we're going to get Sasha and Bayley versus Charlotte and Nia Jax. I know it's going to fucking happen, and I don't want it to, but I'll deal with it, I guess. Then we go to our main overarching storyline, which was Team Jericho versus Mick Foley, and also versus The Shield, and also versus Braun Strowman, who was versus Sami Zayn. Yeah. This is interesting. So the opening segment I felt was garbage. Jericho was funny, doing their usual stuff, talking about how, they pulled the ruse over everybody. Even Kevin Owens was convinced that Jericho was trying to attack him and all this stuff. And that was funny. And then they started making fun of Santa Claus, and then we all know that Mick Foley loves Christmas. So Mick Foley comes out and says, oh, don't talk about Santa that way. And then talks about, yeah, it's great that you guys worked together last night. You guys had this plan. That's awesome. But I'm going to make sure... Well, first off, I'm going to put you guys in a tag team match against Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. That'll be the main event. Go figure. But then he also says that Kevin Owens can't win the championship without Jericho, which has been the running storyline, and says that I'm gonna put you in a rematch against Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble, and we're gonna put Jericho in a shark cage. Okay, so now you're taking stuff from last month's NXT show, and you're gonna do the same match. Oh my god. And then there was just a long, drawn-out, how do we get Jericho into the cage and make it funny? Where he's, checking out the cage. He says, oh, I'm not going to be in it, but Mick tells him that he has to, otherwise he's going to get fired. And so, Jericho's checking it, and Mick tells him to get in the cage, and he does, to check the floor. And then he locks it, and then Jericho tells him to put the padlock on. And then they do the thing, oh, Mick doesn't have the key, and Mick has the cage get raised up. And I thought, okay, the way they can make this good is have Jericho above the ring for, the first 2 matches. Or, a promo and a couple matches or something. Instead, he's back down after the commercial break and is just, he's breathing heavily and all this stuff. And it's him and Kevin throughout the rest of the night. Kevin's trying to get him back into the mindset to face the Shield. And then at one point, it was while Mick was giving the new titles to Sheamus and Cesaro. A referee comes in and goes, or I think it was a referee. Yeah, the referee comes in and goes, hey, Mick, I know you're busy, but we need you out here right now because Braun Strowman is fucking destroying everything in the back. He is flipping guardrails. He's throwing these giant containers. He's flipping, rolling carts, and he's throwing people through doors and all kinds. He's looking for Mick Foley and or Sami Zayn. So Mick Foley comes out, and he says, Sami Zayn lasted 10 minutes. He didn't beat me. I want Sami Zayn. And Mick's like, hey, I gave Sami Zayn the night off. Why don't you should take the night off too. Just take the night off. Go calm down or something. How are you gonna tell Braun Strowman to calm down? But Braun tells him, like, you either give me Sami Zayn or else. And no one really knew what else meant until we come back from a commercial and we have Sin Cara versus Titus O'Neil, and then Braun Strowman comes down and destroys both of them. Mostly Sin Cara by tossing him off of the stage through the giant Christmas setup. And then he came out later during the main event tag team match, which was a main event tag team match between The Shield and Jericho. There's nothing to really talk about for that match. Nothing special happened. It was a combination of two of the matches from Roadblock. That's what it was. But Braun Strowman comes down, immediately attacks Roman Reigns, which makes sense because Roman Reigns is like the first person he can get to. But then Jericho and Owens get out of the ring. They leave, and they kind of like throw Rollins back in the ring so Braun can attack him too. So Braun just completely destroys both Shield members, while Jericho get to just kind of like walk away and laugh. So now we're probably going to get a 6-man tag team match, probably next week, maybe the week after, where we'll get Jericho and Braun Strowman versus The Shield and Sami Zayn. So, yeah, did a lot of the same stuff. Yeah. I had a headache through most of Raw just because I was just kind of waiting for it to end. And I'm glad it did, and I shouldn't be, but I am. I don't want to rant anymore, so thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you thought about Raw. Did you think that they moved in the right direction? Was it better than Roadblock? I felt it was kind of on the same level because it was just... No, Roadblock was better because the matches were better. But as far as storyline-wise, it was all just kind of the same bullshit. So let me know what you thought down in the comments. We appreciate it. You can also check out this review along with yesterday's indie news. You can also check out Tuesday Night Live and the Midweek Wrap-Up all in podcast form over on the SoundCloud link. Be sure to check that out. All the links down below to send you to all of our social medias where you get updates to videos. You get extra things that we post. You can like our Facebook because we post stuff during pay-per-views when we get a chance. You'll want to stay on the YouTube over here, though, if you want to check out our long, ranty review of Raw Block or Roadblock, whatever you want to call it. You can also go over to Reasonable Wrestling Fans. That's Reasonable with a W, like wrestling, where you get to see all of our YouTubier stuff. Last week we posted a Christmas unboxing from WrestleCrate. Thanks again, WrestleCrate. We appreciate you. You can also check out our punishment and wager videos over there. I'm going to be getting chopped by some professional wrestlers pretty soon because we lost one match at Roadblock. We're going to be eating a bug. So, yeah, check out all that stuff, guys. Check out the stuff over here. Be sure to join me for the rest of the week. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you at whatever video you decide to watch next. And fuck repetition.